Hi, I'm Crow-Reinhart of Garbage Soup, and today I'm going to be. Hi, I'm Crow-Reinhart of Garbage Soup, and Hi, I'm Crow-Reinhart of Garbage Soup, and this episode I'm talking about my Star Wars wreaths, dealing with rejection, and upcoming convention that I'm going to. So this is going really well till I lift it up. One of my friends works for KMK Designs up in the cities, and they make custom clothing and cosplay costumes, and so I like creepy stalked them on like Facebook and Instagram, and I like all their pictures because they're just so good at sewing and designing and fitting, and everything's beautiful. Anyway, they try to do zero waste, so they'll sell the remnants on Etsy, and they had all these scraps from when you cut out a pattern, those pieces in between, and my friend works there, so I got like 3 garbage bags full of like the weird cast off stuff, and I really love like this fabric here. This goes under their grommet punch so it has all these little holes and stuff in it, and man, it like that would be some really fantastic like bat wings or something. Like, I just love what happened. Anyway, so some of these scraps are, you know, pretty formidable pieces, and some are just little pieces. So I took the small, went through, bought a bunch of those cheap mesh laundry bags, sorted by color, size, all that, fabric content, and oh my gosh, some of the fabric in there, it's just so like just little pieces of this luxury that I'm like, I would never buy this expensive fabric because I would mess it up, but I can pet the little pieces creepily. Anyway, so what I did is I gathered up light colors. There's some tulle in there, some of that cool punched fabric, some little scraps of like black cotton, some really cool like lacy stuff, some hem chunks, just a variety of awesome. And I made little tiny, almost like bouquets of that fabric and attached it. Okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so there's several different elements to this, making a wreath like this. And the main points I'm going to talk about are the main like fabric pieces, the making of the little special resins and flowers, and then making the sign. So now that I have an outline, I have to stick to that, I suppose. For starting out making the wreath, you need a frame of some sort. It's from Dollar Tree. It was $1. And then I had cheapo flowers, and I made all my little resin pieces in like candy molds like this, and then I embedded wire into them. And this flower, I pulled out the little stamen area and then put the wire through it that way instead. The ones that are just flowers, I kept the stems on and added wire. And all the little fabric pieces here, you can slice your fabric up into ribbons, or you can keep it chunks or whatever you want. Man, I'm just waving things in front of the camera. Okay, this one was more little scrappy pieces, while this one was a bigger chunk of white cotton. And what you do is, this is just some floral wire. It's like a 22 gauge. You wouldn't use it for wire wrapping. It just, but I do 4 sections, and my kids ran off with my wire cutters, so, or wire cutters, so I'm just using the needle nose plier. So I was doing just 3 sections, but then I had to, I was shoring myself on wire. Like, you might gather up your fabric this way, then trim that. And then you just put your wire on and twist. You can make bigger bunches. You probably want to make bigger bunches, so that it's fluffier. I started with Welcome to the Dark Side wreaths, so those aren't as thick. And then I went on to the May the Force Be With You, the white ones, and those were a lot thicker, so it was harder to attach the sign. If you're just gonna do a wreath with no signage or anything, go fluffy. Lightsabers, I found, they're just these bubble things that I spray painted, and then I had some fairy lights like this. And the first ones, I wrapped the lights around like a barbecue bamboo skewer and stuck them in. Second try was, I didn't have the bases showing, so I had them, like, I just stuffed the lights up in there, and then I glued I had cut the end off, and then I used I just have random stuff here. Pretend this is a pop bottle cap, and I like glued that to the bottom to keep the lights from falling out. But what I did with this one, I'm pretty pleased with. I drilled a hole in this end, and I fed the entire wire through, like all the way up to this part. Then I had like a fat, it was a smoothie straw, but pencil, anything like that'll work. And I wrapped the wire around it and then pulled it back in. So I have a little bit of kind of weird knotty stuff in there, but other than that, it makes a pretty decent coil. So then I glued with this with a little bit of E6000 glue to kind of anchor it, and taped it while it was drying. So I spray painted the little handle, and that's gonna go on this. It doesn't totally look like a lightsaber handle, but it's okay. I just wanted to go over a couple basics because it occurred to me that some of this stuff, if you're self-taught, you might not know. So this is one of my boards, and I believe it was 12 by 1. And when you go to the store and buy a board, it's not if you go to a hardware store, it's not actually going to be 12 inches by 1. It's slightly smaller because after they cut it to that dimension, they plane it again. So don't be surprised that it's a little bit narrower or shorter, thinner. I think it was probably 8 feet to start with, and then I cut it into about 5'6". I can't remember. I should have brought out a ruler. Anyway, after that, I sanded, and I used got a hand sander from Walmart. I think this is probably the cheapest one they have. It's probably under 20 bucks. Started with 60 grit, and there's different sandpaper that attaches to the sanders, or if you're going to be hand sanding. But this is some hand sanding sandpaper. It's 400, 800. So the larger the number, the finer the grit is going to be. Let's see if you can see this. Okay, this one's had a little bit of, been used quite a bit. It's pretty coarse. This is an 80, and it'll say on the back of the page too. So that one's seen a bit of action. Meanwhile, this piece looks like it's just shiny black paper almost, because this is an 800. So you want to start with your, I need to stop looking at my face, and you need to start with your lowest number and work up. When I was cutting, I had like a little ridge where I didn't quite line everything up correctly. So anyway, if you start off with too fine, you can sit there and sand it forever. It'll be super smooth and fine and velvety soft, but you will not get rid of that lump. It's just gonna waste your time. I put the design on my board by drawing out the design on paper and then tracing over the lines with a pencil, but I couldn't see the indents very well on the board. Since I was using makeup, I figured I needed to make a makeup video. I might have had a little bit of fun. This is one of the wreaths that I worked on first, and I tried to stiffen up the tool with liquid starch, and that was a mistake. But if you see right here, I just did each little bunch on a wire, and then I put it on the frame. But then in my later wreaths, I cut longer wires, and then I did a better zigzag pattern. And this has a lot better coverage, and it's a lot more stable. So, like on this, I've had a hard time trying to get the flowers to go the direction I want. Well, in this one, they have good, stable placement. I'm just working on a couple birthday presents that I forgot that time was passing, and so I forgot to get them made and in the mail. Good luck, kitties. This last May, I applied for a local art festival, and my application wasn't accepted. And I didn't exactly expect it to be, but, you know, hoped kind of, because you never know if our community is just like, you know, hey, we consider all creators artists, or if they're gonna be like, no, it must all be gold leafed, or we only accept painters and pottery, you know. So you never know exactly what a community is looking for unless you try. I never actually heard back from them, and they were going to have all their decisions done by the end of May. And so then I went onto the website where you had to apply, and my application status was, instead of being pending, it was not invited. I went through this whole, you know, the stages of grief, you know, like, it's like, what do you mean not invited? What is this, like a 2-year-old's birthday party? But, you know, I got over it. And then a month and a half later, mid-July, get an email, and they're like, here, this is what our judges said. We send these out so people, you know, to help them learn and grow. You know, fine, but probably should have sent those out at the end of May. And the scoring was a 5 is you are like a master in your field. You are fantastic. A 3 is you're above average. And a 1 is you're crap. Like, it's shoddily made, just basic bitch. kids are around. It's okay if I swear. That's why the show is called Effed Up and stuff. You know. Anyway. So, there are 4 judges, and 3 of them gave me 2s, which I take to mean, okay, you're average. So, okay, not too bad. You know, I have some room for improvement. And one person commented, hey, this is really creative and interesting, or your stuff's creative and interesting, but it's more crafting than art. It's like, okay, perfect. That's what I needed to know. And then one judge gave me a 1. I was just kind of angry. So, I sat and I was angry for a while, and I was sad for a while, and I kind of had a little bit of a depressive episode, so I haven't gotten anything done in like the last 2 weeks because I was feeling crappy about myself. You know, it's one thing if I see, you know, areas I can improve on, and other people are kind of like, oh, you can improve there, but just being like, garbage. I mean, I work with garbage, so I accept that, but a 1, really, like, it's not like I submitted a picture of Play-Doh or, you know, it was dried and cracked or anything like that. So I got all indignant and mad, and recently I saw that that art festival is going to have a chalk drawing contest, and I'm an adult. I'm an adult. And part of me really wants to enter and just draw dicks all over their sidewalk. I'm a mature adult! I won't do that, but I might take the kids and, you know, have fun. Because that's the whole point of the festival, correct? Yes. But I was thinking about it, and I don't really have any reason to feel bad, because the judge's opinion doesn't matter, because they're just some random judge. I don't know them, they don't know me, and so I don't know why it irritated me so much. After thinking about it, it's because I got embarrassed, and that seems to drive a lot of things in life, like, you know, oh, I don't want to go wear this swimsuit to the pool because I might get embarrassed. And I don't have that problem because I don't care what other people think. So I wear what I want. And, but for some reason, that one judge, the unhelpful jerk-face judge, it stuck with me, and I was so embarrassed. Meanwhile, I think I would, like, if possible, I would love to get a hold of that one judge that actually commented, you know, to help improve myself, because the whole point of showing the scores was so then you can improve, and if only one person is going to comment, it doesn't really do its job. So it'd be nice to get a hold of them and be like, hey, can I bounce some ideas off of you, or, you know, adopt me and be my artist craft bear. Thanks for watching my video. I'll be at Nerdin Out Con in Rochester, Minnesota on August 10th and 11th. I'll be bringing my cross stitches, dice towers, art journals, my dice jewelry, steampunk and dragon eye pendants, wreaths, wine charms, wine glass charms, cufflinks, wands, possibly headdresses and crowns if I get my display done in time. And I will also have the websites posted in my description for KMK Designs, Nerdin Out Con, as well as all my social media. So, we'll see you next time. Be good.